Beautiful.
Yeah. So congrats on the EP. It's out now.
Thank you.
How's the initial response been so far? First day in.
Yeah, I'm digging it. A lot of people are liking it because it's it's real thrash metal. I guess you could say.
Do you think that's a bit of a lost art form at the moment with all the different subgenres that come about?
I think it is, but thrash had it came and then it went by the way of grunge and that new metal. But now it's like with Exodus and Death Angel and Testament all back in it, and then it seems to be making a comeback. And I think the cool thing about thrash is the bands are very distinct sounding, not just to the rest of the metal genres and whatnot that's out there, but between each other as well.
What makes a good thrash band for you then?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
What makes a good thrash band for you?
The speed drums, the double bass, a lot of and it's not all double bass, but a lot of drum rolls, a lot of cymbal crashing, the fast guitars, the technical riffs. It's not all bar chords. A lot of it's technical riffs from the guitars, and then the vocals aren't. I don't think any of the Us, Death Angel, Testament, Exodus, the vocals, none of them sound the same. They all have their own little sound to them.
Yeah,
I think when I listen to music that's out today, a lot of it's like they're all chasing this one sound, And there's some bands out there that are really original, but for the most part, I just hear like the same sound going on in all these bands.
Do you think that things like auto-tune and computers have sort of led the way for that?
That and if that one band sounds like another, that sounds like another, that sounds like another, I think it's a creativity issue.
Sure. Now on this one, you've got Bobby, formerly of OVERKILL. You've got Christian who was in Fear Factory. What did they bring to the equation for this first album in forever?
Well, Bobby's leads really mesh well with Phil's. Unless I know which one's which, it's sometimes hard to tell. I could tell Phil, he's got a little bit more, he carries notes a little bit longer. Bobby kind of shreds through stuff. But yeah, it's the down picking and the muting of the strings that Bobby brings. And then Christian is just a beast on the bass. When he's picking the strings, he actually wears a fake nail because he'll just wear his fingernail out if he doesn't put it on.
Wow.
He's done it. Yeah. So before we practice and anytime we play, he puts a fake nail on his finger. So when he's picking, he's not destroying his fingernail. But and then they both bring that same attitude that we have. That's why we want like veteran guys to fill those two spots, because we all kind of really think the same, and we get along great. So it was never about their talent. It was always about, okay, can we all stand each other? That's a big test.
People forget that in bands, talent only gets you so far. The hang is 75% of the time, because if you're on a bus or traveling, you're doing that far more than playing.
Yeah, when we did the video, it's like, I think I actually worked for 25 minutes out of a 10-hour day.
Yeah.
And same with the rest of the guys. So a lot of your time is downtime and just shooting the shit and having a good time, waiting your turn,
It's nice to see bands doing videos still, because for me, while lyric videos and everything serve their purpose for YouTube, seeing an actual band make a video is pretty important as a kid that was in the 70s and 80s. What do you think about video still?
I like the video format. It's great because then you get to see the band and they can add some level of creativity to the song as well, and kind of present a picture for the listeners. And I was there when MTV was turned on.
Yeah.
me and my buddies in high school, we were all sitting around the TV waiting for midnight, and boop, there it was.
Amazing.
Video killed the radio star.
By the Buggles.
Yeah.
All right. So tell me about some of the songs in the album. So Let the World Burn. It's a pretty obvious title, but
yeah. And so it's kind of like, how much more how much more does it take, you know, before people start, you know, waking up to the fact that their trivial little problems are being undermined by, you know, people that are trying to control them. And it's like it seems these days you go from one catastrophic event to the next. It's almost deliberate. And so if all these, if all this stuff is going on and everyone's so, like they're wrapped up in it and it's like controlling their lives. It's like, well, if there was a catastrophic event and an extinction event on this planet, nothing you care about right now, nothing that's going on would even be remembered. And the only way it would be remembered is if another life form was on this planet 10 million years from now and could actually reason. Because if the next life form is dinosaurs, well, then you could be assured you're never going to be remembered. And all those things that matter so much to you and get you so emotional that you know, you lose your mind over it. It's none of that really would make any difference or be remembered or matter at all. And so that's kind of the approach I took to that song.
Do you think that you speak about catastrophic events? Do you feel that sometimes these catastrophic events appear when we start to wise up to the catastrophic event beforehand?
I think so. It's like, it's a distraction. It's like, look up this sleeve. Oh, wait a minute. No, this one now.
They're onto us. Let's
go. There's always
here.
A trick. Yeah, there's always something going on up their sleeve, you know. And the thing that makes it so it just upsets me the most is that it's an attempt to control people, and people fall for it. That's the saddest part, is that people fall for it because they're so wound up in their emotional responses. It's like, you know, okay.
Yep. What about Flesh from Bone?
Flesh from Bone, I'm really into like that, the dark ages of history. And the 14th century had Vlad the Impaler and fighting against the Ottoman Empire and totally outnumbered, and also trying to rule Wallachia and keep it safe and keep people from committing crimes. And so in battle, when he's outnumbered, it's a psychological terror that he uses by impaling people. So and it's not the generals that are pushing the Ottoman Empire to attack. It's the guys in the field with the swords and stuff that look and see these, you know, big vast swaths of impaled fellow soldiers that turned them around. And so he was able to conquer, you know, well, actually not even conquer as much as defend through that tactic of terror. And then as a ruler, you know, like today you could go steal less than $1,000 worth of crap in the United States and no one's going to give a damn. But back then, if you stole a coin, you were going to get impaled or skinned alive or whatever he chose for you to receive. So the punishment was so extreme that, you know, in his mind, it was like, well, the more extreme the punishment, then the less people will be enticed to want to do it. And so, I mean, there's a lot of stories in that history of when he ruled Wallachia. And I would suggest to anyone, check it out, you know, check out some of the stuff he did. Yeah.
Now,
so I was kind of inspired by that.
Right. When it came to you crafting like your vocal lines and your melodies, do you just go in with a blank canvas over the riff and just sort of scat out a basic sort of scratch track and then write to that? Or have you got subject matter you want to go in with already?
Well, I usually have a subject matter that I want to, you know, apply to the song, you know, and then we'll go in the rehearsal studio, Perry and Phil and I, and work on, because Phil will bring in the riffs and then we'll work on constructing them into a song, you know, and then once I have a good verse and a riff that sounds to me like a chorus riff, then I'll start writing vocal patterns over it, trying to find that pattern. And then once I get the pattern, then I start writing lyrics. Once I get through that first verse, it usually comes pretty easy. But that's kind of the approach we take.
Was there a song that gave you the most sort of challenge to get finished on this one?
Probably the first one, Flesh from Bone. That's the first song we wrote. So that was obviously a challenge since I hadn't written anything in so long. And then I would say the second one was Gato Negro, because I knew how I wanted the vocals to go. I just wasn't quite sure on a subject. And then on YouTube, there's a reading of Edgar Allan Poe's Black Cat. And so I listened to the story and audio, and it's like such a macabre story. It just inspired me to write that song. And so instead of calling it Black Cat, we called it Gato Negro.
Right. And do you see the band going out and doing some extensive sort of shows when time allows around the release?
Yeah, well, we have 5 dates with Coroner right now in May in the States. We're on Bloodstock and Alcatraz. We've got another festival too that we'll be on that hasn't announced yet. And we are doing the end of the year. We're doing the Headbangers Ball tour there, and I think a lot of it's in Germany and Sweden and some of the countries that'll, our booking agent over there believes that there's going to be a lot more countries following suit, opening up and allowing us to get in and out of the country with no problems. And so we have a 13-date tour in Europe with Whiplash and Artillery, and it'll be pushed by MTV, so that'll be cool too. We'll have that backing, and to come over there and headline just by ourselves, it'd be one thing, but having MTV behind the tours kind of gives us that extra little push, of promotion to get the people to come out. And we've got a couple other things we're working on. We're not a big touring band, like 40 shows. I see a lot of the bands coming out now with these. They're putting together these 40 show tours, and then I'm seeing bands canceling them like a couple of weeks later, or support acts canceling. I saw one today that I forget who it was that canceled on the Destruction tour, but so we try to hit spots when we can and just kind of get out and play. And we try to the States. It's easy, you can play Florida, you can play Texas, you can play a bunch of places here, and and have no problems. It's getting over to Europe that's a little bit of a trick. And obviously Australia is one that I don't even have a clue as when we could get there.
A lot of bands are looking into next year as go time. I think they're just going to ride out 2022 as far as Australia is concerned, and then hope for the best. Yeah,
that's kind of what we're looking at. We had a tour set up with Sacred Reich over there. I think it was 5 or 6 shows, but we just don't see how that's going to happen this year with what's going on with the government there.
Yeah, sure. And what bands do you listen to today that you think have got something important to say, like new bands?
I don't really listen much to new bands. I like Behemoth. It seems like every time they write a record, it just gets better. They get better and better at their musicianship and some of the songs. And I really don't listen to much metal. And when I do, it's usually old school stuff, Bonded by Blood or, Celtic Frost or some of the old classics. Yeah, it's like, I really don't even think I've listened to like Rain and Blood the whole way through, because I'm into Show No Mercy and Hell Awaits, Haunting the Chapel and that kind of stuff. Because that's kind of what I grew up on. Because I would hang out at Ruthie's Inn. It seemed like there would be a show almost every weekend at Ruthie's, and you'd see all those bands, and so it's like familiar to me. It's like part of my growing up. Cool. And that's what got me into this, because the first thrash show I saw was Slayer at the Keystone Berkeley. They still had the black makeup under their eyes.
Wow.
Because they hit like on Show No Mercy, the record. Yeah.
Crazy. All right. I know you've got a ton of press in Australia today, so I'm going to let you go. Have you got any final words for the fans down here?
Yeah, we want to come out. I'm really looking forward to getting to Australia and doing these dates. And hopefully we'll keep that tour intact with Sacred Reich and we'll get over there when it opens up. But yeah, we really want to get over there and play. And check out the new record on Metal Blade Records, came out today. We're really happy with it, and we really believe that what we do is true thrash metal. And so, because that's just who we are.
Excellent, Sean. I'll let you go, and I look forward to seeing you probably in 2023.
Great, thank you.
Congrats on the EP. Thanks, mate. Bye.
Good night.